All right, it is midweek here, people. We've got the first major of the year getting ready to start, the Masters in Augusta. We've got a lot of afternoon baseball here today on this Wednesday, not to mention we are laying 3 touchdowns in some games here in the association. My goodness, playoffs will be here, a lot happening. Who better to break it all down? And our good friend Art the Caesar in the house telling us where the sharps are looking, where the squares are looking, and more importantly, where we should be looking here, Art. It was interesting night last night in Major League Baseball. Also, we've got some interesting results late night there in the NBA. I think the Lakers are in trouble, but that's a different story there. But how did the books overall do yesterday? There aren't anything crazy we need to know about?
Nothing really. It was kind of a break-even day for us, and what really saved us was the Astros losing to the Rockies.
Hmm.
Anytime the Rockies win a ball game, it's good. You knock a lot of straight bets out, but knock a lot of parlays out. So the Rockies, who have been scrappy early, they've been scrappy. It doesn't look like they're going to win 45 games. Maybe they win 55 this year. Maybe
Right.
they bump up a little bit. But yeah, that was good for us. So whatever, kind of a break even day. But this is one of these calms before the storm when you got the Masters teeing off tomorrow, and obviously we're just kind of waiting for these playoffs to start in the major sports because it's going to be huge for us when we have the NHL and NBA playoffs. We got 2 or 3
Yep.
games each day in those sports to book. We got a lot of props we can do, a lot of things that can go on. So we're really trying to get to the finish line there.
Yeah, that's kind of it, right? I mean, you're just trying to say, okay, so everyone can breathe after college. Basketball is over now, but even though the transfer portal opened, and I think half of anybody who plays college basketball is in the portal now, which is, yeah, no, there's no problem. What could possibly go wrong with that system? Art, nothing at all. My goodness, crazy. But still doesn't mean we don't have a lot going on. I know you mentioned yesterday, and we will get you because I had somebody in the comments ask about the Derby and those types of things coming up. So Art will get us that information this week and some of those Derby future markets. But Art, a lot of places to go. Early games here. I think it's a good thing Prez isn't here because I think Toronto's in a lot of trouble in Major League
Yes.
Baseball, at least early on. Injuries continuing to pile up. Dodgers are going scorched earth, and Toronto just can't seem to get it done. Now they got to go up against Ohtani. They can't hit. Not a good situation for Toronto. But having said that, I am sure the Sharps have probably run to back Dylan Cease in Toronto here. But what's the board looking like for you here today from a Sharp perspective?
Yeah, as far as the early stuff in Major League Baseball today, you kind of look at, there's early games, so you can't really hit on a lot of the early stuff. But Diamondbacks and Mets, the Sharps took under 7.5 even. We went to -115. They took the Rays money line. They took the Nats money line again. They were on the Nationals yesterday. And our big house player who loves to come in and bet baseball, he's done this all year. He'll take a team on the money line and then he'll take the run line. He did it early last week with the Mets and it lost. I forget, he did one last week and lost as well. Today he's on the Brewers, who are a dog, and then he did the reverse run line. So he laid the 1.5 with the Brewers. So he's all in on the Brewers. We'll be big Red Sox fans today.
Yeah, that is interesting, Art, to say the least here, because yeah, the Red Sox, I mean, they finally got one back with Crochet on the mound
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, but what does that mean when it's all said and done, right? I mean, it wasn't like they scored 95 runs in that game. So, yeah, the Brewers, interesting, but the Brewers bullpen and starting pitching, a bit of a issue with some injuries. And I think they had to call somebody up here now. I believe Drohan is now going to open this game against Sonny Gray. But I'm with you. I agree with him. I don't think Sonny Gray should be a $1.35, $1.40 favorite against anybody. But that's what we're looking at here today. I'm seeing sevens in that game too, Art, which is interesting. That seems like a bit of a low
Yeah,
total on a cold day, huh?
yeah, especially in Fenway. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Woo!
get it. It's been brutal on the East Coast with this weather. I mean,
Terrible.
I'm watching the Yankees A's last night, and all these guys are bundled up, and it's like,
Yep.
we haven't figured this out yet. We can't start in domes or on the West Coast, and I don't know.
Yep.
I get that at some point these East Coast teams have to have their opening days, but it's just brutal. It's
It's
just the guys don't look like they're having a good time, man.
no,
It's
they
like,
do not.
no,
No,
it's
they do not.
unbelievable.
Yep,
Yeah.
and some of the runs have been suppressed a little bit. We're starting to see under money in athletics and the Yankees. That's at 7:05 tonight. I mean, the weather has been brutal up in the East here. That is for sure. And ironically enough, you got Colorado winning games here, and even out west, you got the Giants. Shutting out
Hmm.
the Phillies and Nola last night, which was hysterical. But some sharp money in Major League Baseball. Anything. There's only a handful of games, I believe, in the NHL here today, right? But one of them, Buffalo's in action here, Edmonton. Anything on the ice tonight, sharp wise?
Only thing they report sharp-wise in the NHL is they took the under in that Sabre game. It
Mm,
was even money overnight, so now it's minus 110. Sabres Rangers under 6. NBA, same thing, really. Really, the only sharp thing to report is the over in the Timberwolves game. They took, what did they take? Let's see. They took over 228. It's now 229 and a half. The NBA is now listen, there are going to be major implications here over the next week in a lot of these NHL games, a lot of basically playoff games because there's still things to be decided. Even now, the Pacific's wide open.
yep.
The Knights are back in it after they fired their coach. They can win that division again. Ducks have lost like 6, 7 in a row. So, I mean, there's some things that are up for grabs. I mean, you look at the Lightning, Sabres, and Canadians, they're all 102 points. So that division's up for grabs. So the NBA is tough, man. And booking the NBA over these last couple of weeks is really brutal because there's no importance to these games. And people are either just not betting them, or like you said, you see a lot of totals fluctuate. I've mentioned this before. When you have a lot of games, they take all the money line favorites and they bet them together in a parlay. So it's just, we really need the playoffs for the NBA.
Yeah, I agree, Art. I mean, it's ugly to say the least. I mean, you can't happen. I mean, this morning I'm looking at a 20. It's now. It's up
Yeah.
to 23. Denver's laying
It's
23 at home against Memphis. Now, granted, but the problem is Memphis is filled with a bunch of G League two-way contract players. They're playing for their next contract, Art. So it's
sure.
not like you're not going to get effort from them, but I mean, my goodness. I mean, that's back-to-back overtime games for Denver, by the way, in Denver. So, man, I don't know that I'm running to the win. Yes, they're the better team, but man, I don't know that we're running to the window and laying 23 in that one there. Or, quite honestly, Detroit with nothing to play for is somehow going to win by 3 touchdowns over Milwaukee. It's head scratching, Art. I agree with you. All right, so not a lot of sharp action going on in the NBA. You mentioned one NHL. How about the Masters now, as we're less than 24 hours away from those guys teeing it up there in Augusta? Any moves, any plays head to head, those types of things we need to know.
Yeah, just to mention, we move Rom to the second choice now. He was 12 to
Ooh.
1. He's now 10 to 1. We've now started to see a little bit more liability on Matt Fitzpatrick, who's going off at 20 to 1. He was as high as 60, 50 to 1 handful of months ago. Couple of markets that really see a lot of love. Yes, no playoff. No minus
Mm.
500. Yes, plus $4. So 4 to 1. You see a lot of love in that market. Lowest score, 64 and a half. It was over minus 150. It's now over $2. First round score, 65 and a half. That was over minus 150. Now over $2. Winning score, 275 and a half. That's for the whole tournament. A little bit of over money's come in. We're now minus 130 on that. Top newcomer, aka top debutante, Chris Goddard.
Mm.
He's 450, 9 to 2. He's been playing really good golf. He's actually seen a lot of love too in the actual just to win it all. But you can get him plus 450 to be the top debutante, so have the best finish. And then I would say the matchup right now that has seen a lot of love is Scotty versus Rom. Scotty obviously getting love because he always does get love. But it's funny. We're waiting, and it will probably happen later today. We have a guy who comes in and bets all of our majors, and he attacks it from the matchup standpoint. And he's one of our best Super Bowl prop guy, and he's one of our best major prop guy. So we're kind of waiting on him to come in. Hopefully he comes in later today, and I can give out all that information tomorrow, because he is a guy we really respect and really look to book to. Has yet to come in, but hopefully that's today.
That's crazy. All right, so a lot going on with the Masters, and you and I were talking before the show. You get a ton of it. It makes sense. And we've got a couple of angles coming up for you here, guys, in the predictive markets with the Masters. You're going to want to hear some of this stuff here, because there's a bunch of different ways to attack the Masters. But you get a ton of live betting art. Interesting. Over to wheel. So once we get to kind of Saturday, Sunday, you start seeing a lot of the in-game stuff, a lot of the live betting come in.
Oh, Sunday's amazing. Not saying that it doesn't happen on Saturday, but Sunday, when you get to that, group of 4, 5, 6, maybe even 8 golfers, and people feel, hey, they're only a couple strokes back, or whatever the case may be, or even they say, hey, I'm going to ride the favorite here. And, I'm going to get on the favorite early, and maybe he even builds his lead another shot or two, and they just keep betting it that way. The in-game wagering on all majors, but especially the Masters, on Sunday is really good. We see really good handle on that.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up here on the Masters here, guys. A lot of different ways to approach it. No Tiger, no Phil this year. And I saw a couple of interviews, guys asking about Tiger Woods to the current guys out there like the Bubba Watsons of the world, and Patrick. Like you would have thought it was like a eulogy, like he was like. What are we doing here? The guy's in Tahiti on a beach somewhere, like a med spa. Like, let's not feel and cry a tear here for Tiger Woods. He'll be back next year. You guys will survive 1 year without him. Plus, you and I both know Phil is betting on the Masters this year anyway, Art. Who are we kidding? He's already got his bets in.
100%. And I will say this, and I'm not Mr. Golf. I don't pretend to be, but that's the problem with golf.
Yep.
You're at the Masters and we're still talking Tiger?
Exactly.
Can we move on?
Yes.
I get it. He just had a major incident, but even if he didn't have that the guy hasn't been relevant in a long time, and I know he's Tiger Woods. Yes. But let's talk about these other guys, and let's get excited for the Masters. It's really the problem with golf.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, poor guy. I mean, he flipped his, $80,000 Range Rover in one of the most exclusive island communities in the entire East Coast here. Poor guy. And he climbed out the passenger window. Now he's got to hang out at a med spa for a couple of weeks, and oh, please. But you're right. Move on from Tiger already. There's other guys here that can get it done. It's just amazing to me. I mean, 20 minutes of just this, Tiger, he was please. But we do have to find some winners there, and we'll do that coming up on the Masters markets. But how about it, Art? We got to get a parlay of the day. How did we do yesterday with our two-teamer?
I think we lost both our bets.
Great.
I lost in overtime, which was brutal. The Red Wings gave up a goal with 17 seconds left to go to overtime, and then lost in overtime. And I think you had the under in the Suns, and I think it lost by 2 points. We both should have won. It was brutal.
Yes, brutal. Yeah, and the Suns did not show up last night, but Durant did. He welcomed himself back to Phoenix there. All right, so listen, good news is we get to do it again right now here for a parlay of the day. What market are you looking at for the first leg there, Art?
I'm going Major League Baseball, and I like going against David Peterson. So give me, as a dog, give me the Diamondbacks against the Mets.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So interesting then. I have no idea, and I don't care whether he plays or he doesn't play, but the fact that we're going to trust the Orlando Magic to lay 8 points at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't care if Edwards is questionable last I saw, but this number is getting to a point where, no, I do not trust Orlando as a home favorite laying this kind of number. It's been a recipe for disaster. So I will take the points with the Minnesota Timberwolves here tonight against the Orlando. I had to double take it wait a minute, are we Lando's laying 8 against the Timberwolves now. Like, yeah, no. They're not playing the Washington Wizards. They're playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ridiculous. I'll take that number there. So that's our parlay of the day, Art. Let's talk about these predictive markets because you mentioned something interesting here, and we've got a couple of trends that you guys are certainly going to want to know here. But you mentioned John Rahm, a guy that is now moved into right behind Scotty is maybe the favorite to win this thing. And I got to tell you, I don't know if there's if you guys have a prop on who the highest finishing live golfer might be, but it feels like the DeChambeaus, the John Rahms, and the Patrick Reeds of the world all kind of fit this narrative with this course that have all had success here. You know, it feels like the live golf guys out of sight, out of mind. But John Rahm in great form. We've talked about DeChambeau in great form. Patrick Reed has a green jacket. It feels like maybe we're sleeping a little bit here on the live guys in some of these markets.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had mentioned DeChambeau yesterday. We mentioned Rahm. Those are guys obviously at the top of the list. We moved Rahm to the second choice today, or even late last night. The one thing we have, and I'm trying to find it because we definitely have
like the highest live golfer, or will a live guy?
Yeah, that's what we usually have. We have will a live golfer win? There's so much master stuff. I'm just kind of trying to go through this. Let's see. Here we go. The Masters top live finisher.
Yep.
So you got Rahm plus 140, DeChambeau plus 175. Then it really drops off. Hatton and Smith are both 10-1. Wow. So that's your top live golf finisher.
Well, bet them both. I would bet both, Rahm. And you know what I mean? I think you're going to, I think one of those two guys has got a really good shot of being the top dog in that spot there. That's interesting there because Patrick Reed, I thought, might get a little bit of love in there being a former Masters winner here, and everybody hates him. So it would be fantastic to get him coming down on Sunday there, just, you know, flipping everybody off in this. But you mentioned yesterday, too, and it's funny that Rahm got the love, because everything I keep hearing out of Rory's mouth is Rory is just so happy to be here at this tournament. Like, he loved the dinner. He made a comment to the fact, like, I've spent the last 17 tournaments, like, can't wait to get to Augusta. And he's like, now I don't really care whether the tournament even goes off or not tomorrow. So, like, he's already checked out. Like, he got what he wanted. He got his green jacket. You know, he just feels like and sounds like he took a giant shit last year and he's good to go, Art. Like, I'm comfortable. Are you getting any Rory love to repeat here?
Rory's a popular name, so you always do get, you know, your $20, $50, $100 bets on Rory. First of all, it's hard to repeat.
Yes.
You know, which that you throw that in there, and then you throw in what you just said, Joe. I mean, once again, someone who follows it from a far distance. But I know after Rory had won the Masters, he basically didn't care and was bad at golf. I mean, you know, and he just was like, hey, I did what I had to do. I finally got my Masters. I believe that gave him his career Grand Slam, you know, all those type of things. So I think what you'll see, and hopefully I can give this information out tomorrow, I think Rory's going to be a bet against in the matchups.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I think, and listen, you might have to pay a price, but, you know, if this is a guy who's just, you know, happy to be there and he's making jokes about the dinner and, you know, hey, I got to be there to give out the green jacket on Sunday because I'm not going to win. It feels like he's not there with the intensity you need to win a major. So that's probably the way to look to fade him. Or, I don't know, do you get crazy and bet him not to make the cut? You know, things of that nature, you know, I mean, there are ways you can go about this. So I think
the biggest matchup is going to be, because him and DeChambeau is still talking about it. Like, it was one of the things DeChambeau said this week. He's like, Rory caught me last year, but he got him at the U.S. Open, you know. So apparently there's this back and forth with DeChambeau and Rory, because Rory handed him that U.S. Open, by the way, on that epic meltdown there on the 18th hole. But listen, if it works for DeChamp. I don't think that Rory's got that same fire. Like, I don't think he cares one way or the other, but something tells me that matchup will likely have the most handle this week, Art. And the question is, are you fading DeChambeau or are you fading Rory? But I think that's a matchup a lot of people are going to be looking for.
Plus 575 for Rory not to make the cut.
Wow. Nearly 6-1 not to make the cut.
Nearly 6-1. $9 minus $9 if you want yes for him to make the cut. So, you know, I mean, like we said, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but there are definitely ways maybe you can go about going against Rory here because, you know, we mentioned it. He's satisfied with himself. So he's done what he needed to do. And, you know, he'll always be able to go to that dinner. He'll always be able to wear that green jacket. In 40 years, he'll probably be out there, you know, hitting the first shot like Gary Player and Nickel, you know, all those guys do and go out there and do that. So I don't know. I mean, he's going to be a Masters legend forever, but I don't know. Is he ever going to be really competitive again?
It just everything about his demeanor and what he's been saying, it's like he is just simply happy to be here now. Like there is no pressure whatsoever. That's either going to work to his advantage and we're all going to fade him and he's going to go out there and he's going to contend again, or it's not going to go well. And at 6-1, maybe that's not a bad market to look at. Some of the trends here speak volumes, and a couple of different ways to approach it, and we'll tie it all in here because you and I showed you this earlier, and it's a fascinating market when you consider, first and foremost, the live betting aspect of it. Here's what we need to know, and we can utilize this in coming up with some in-tournament bets. 20 of the past 21 Master winners have finished top 10 after the first round. The only one that won it that didn't finish in the top 10 after round one was Rory last year. He was 27th and came back and won. It's the only time it's happened in the last 21 Masters. So 20 out of 21. So there is a good chance, better than good chance, that whoever you see in the top 10 after Thursday, one of those guys is going to go on to win the Masters. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. What about after round 3? And this was the interesting market that I saw. You mentioned Jon Rahm taking now right behind Scottie Scheffler. Well, to have the lead after round 3 right now, Rahm is your favorite at about 16 cents there. Well, actually, Scottie's been dropping there. Sorry. So Scottie's 20 cents and Rahm is 16 cents. It's really the only two guys that are on the board that are making any noise after 54 holes. Why is that important? Because what we say was since 1934, just less than half, about 45-46% of the guys that have had the 54-hole lead went on to win. And it's been even more than that over the last decade or so with the numbers that we've run. So if you like Rahm to win it, you better like Rahm to have the lead after 54 holes, or whoever, or Scottie, or
whoever you
it
like.
may be. It's a market you're going to get a better price on, and history tells us that, you know what, guys, guess what? If you are the 54-hole leader, you are going to have a really good opportunity to actually finish it. So what is Rahm's number right now? Let's throw in, let's say, $100 here, and let's put on Rahm. So, yeah, so that's 620, so 6-1. 6-1 for him to have the 54-hole lead, and then you can back it up with 10-1 to win the whole thing. And, by the way, we don't really need him.
No.
We just need him to be up at the leaderboard, and that's the whole point with the predictive markets here.
And I believe you said out of those 3 who didn't have the lead, they were at least inside the top 5.
Correct.
Which also is it's also gonna equate to who you want to bet on Sunday in the in game.
That's
who do you want to look at in that in game? They better kind of be lurking around that top 5, or they're probably not winning the Masters. So that 10-year data point is huge. I mean, we're not talking a year or two. That's a full decade of this where a lot of these golfers have been in this, over the last decade. So I think that information choose. Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Rahm,
100%. Yep.
Scheffler, McIlroy. From 2016 to 2025, every winner, and that's from Willett to Sergio and Rahm, you go back, they were no worse than a share of fifth after 3 rounds, and then closed it out on Sunday. So 1 through 5, but if these guys are within a couple of shots and they're in the top 5, there's a good chance, Art, that your winner is coming right from there. They don't come from further behind on Sunday at Augusta.
And let me throw some more, just to wrap Rory up here. I have his tournament matchups that we're offering.
Yeah.
We have him against Scotty minus 190, and that DeChambeau matchup is a pick'em. Minus 110 both ways.
Wow.
Minus 110 both ways. Yep.
That's great. I mean, back-to-back live tournaments, he just won back. I mean, nobody is in better form than he is. And I think they say, right, everybody, when it comes to the Masters, guess what? You got to lose before you can win there. And if you get a couple of these, that's why the debutantes and those types of guys, second, they don't ever win the Masters. Like, you gotta feel pain first before you actually can win there. And I think he's right there. I think he's got a pretty good opportunity to get it done. And I don't know why anybody's not talking about the Aberg and a couple of these other guys.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Ludwig, he's the guy right now who I think is our worst outcome. Yeah, like if he wins the Masters, it ain't good for us.
Wow.
Yeah, he's right now 16-1. I mean, he's sitting there. So you go Scotty 6-1, you go Rahm 10-1,
right?
DeChambeau 12-1, Rory 14, Ludwig 16, and then pretty much you're gonna get into the 20s and above. No one else. Xander Schauffele 14-1, so he's another guy right there. Tommy Fleetwood at 20-1. People who still take action. Guys like Koepka and Spieth, they still for some reason take money. It always feels like they take money.
But I'm telling you right now, whatever lotto ticket you're playing for the outright winner, guys, take this market. You want to talk about a hedging opportunity, because even if you take Rahm, and even if he does not win the tournament, you're already good to go because you got him after the 54 of all leads. Scotty Scheffler too. Like, you don't need him. Sunday becomes payday then at that point, Art, because you can middle it all day long and never have, and it doesn't matter who wins. You are good to go at some really, really good prices at nearly 6, 7, or 8-1. Heck, if you think Scheffler and Rahm are the guys, then chances are they'll have a 54-hole lead there heading into Sunday, and likely cash both tickets, or at least give you an opportunity to hedge out of it, which I think is awesome there.
Yeah.
So, lot of Masters coming up. It's always good to have that around the corner. And again, tomorrow, while we're on here, Art, you'll be able to give us an update here on what's happening. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get some in-game and opportunities there, depending on what the book is telling us. What else you got going on there this week? You guys do anything for the NFL draft? You come up with any props for that or anything along those lines?
We will. So there, the gaming rules in Nevada are a little different. You can't really have draft props up for a long time. You really have like a 48 hour window. So normally what we'll do is we'll throw those up on Monday before the draft, and then really we close them like Wednesday morning.
That's great.
So you really give people a short window to bet them. So that week of the draft, which I believe is in a week, 2 weeks, whatever it may be, that Monday we'll put the props up. So when I come on Tuesday and Wednesday of that week, we'll be able to talk the props. Like I said, I'm gonna remember to do the Derby stuff on Friday. We'll give out all the future stuff that we've been booking on the Derby on Friday. And then, like I said, tomorrow it's going to be a lot more Masters stuff, as much Masters information as I can cram in tomorrow before, some people even tee off. So we'll try to get as much as that as we can.
Art, always a pleasure, brother. Enjoy the games here tonight. I know you can't wait to lay the 24 with Denver tonight against Memphis. I know we're all running to the window to do that. But enjoy it, brother. We'll see you again tomorrow and do it all over again, man.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, Joe.
All right, it's time for some business here on the best betting show ever, as we nailed our $5 Tuesday Top play yesterday with the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Padres. A little first five under cashes that ticket. I am back on Major League Baseball on the diamond here today with another top play. You can grab that over at WagerTalk.com. Not to mention, I'm locked and loaded here on a big 4% top play in the NBA here tonight. So you can grab both of those over at WagerTalk.com, or do yourself a favor, take advantage of one of the great promotions we have, whether it's the Weekend Warrior, whether it's the buy three, get three, 6 days for the price of three, and an all-access package. There's a ton of ways for you guys to partner up with us here and save while doing so, and while also cashing tickets. So take advantage of it. Hop over to WagerTalk.com and get involved with that. The Prez, by the way, I believe he has one Major League Baseball as well as one NBA best bet also available up at his page. So take advantage here, guys. Let's partner together as we get ready for a very busy couple of weeks. And again, the NBA playoffs is just around the corner. All right, so let's take a look here. We'll run down the NBA slate as well as a lot of afternoon baseball that we'll give you, and a couple of best bets I will throw your way. But let's start in the NBA, and let's head to Cleveland as the Cavs taking on Atlanta. And look at this line. The market is telling you everything you need to know. Cleveland opened up as a 2-point favorite, now laying 1.5. Motivation is the big issue here. Donovan Mitchell, questionable. I do think the under money coming in is also warranted here. So that's where I'm leaning in this game. Cavs already locked into the 4 seed. Really not much more to play for from there. Minnesota and Orlando, I told you I have no idea why Orlando is laying 8 points in some spots. It would be Minnesota or pass for me in this one. Detroit, 19.5, 20, totals at 221. I mean, Milwaukee is embarrassing, second of a back-to-back for them. Already, Doc Rivers is coming up with reasons as to why he's not coming back and retiring. Good riddance there. But I do hope Cade Cunningham, who is listed as maybe questionable, does come back. I'm still looking at the over in that spot there at 221. Portland and San Antonio, I mentioned this game. I do not understand San Antonio. That is a low number, 3.5. Why? No Wemby, no Stephen Castle. Shouldn't matter. They don't need those two guys to win at home against the Portland Trailblazers. I'd look to buy low on San Antonio in that one. Not laying 4 touchdowns with Denver against anybody. Dallas and Phoenix. This is a game that's going to be interesting, too. Phoenix and Dallas both on the second of a back-to-back with Dallas losing to the Clippers last night, Phoenix losing to Houston. I definitely think an over might be in play in this one. And OKC and the Clippers going at it, second of a back-to-back for both those teams. Yep, still thinking an over is the way to look there as well. So there you got it. That's your NBA rundown. Now, let's talk about some of these games coming up here today in Major League Baseball. And we definitely have some afternoon games likely underway or already finished by the time you guys are watching this. So I'll look to a little of the later afternoon games right now. Aaron Nola versus Tyler Mahle. The Philadelphia Phillies trying to bounce back after a gross performance last night against those Giants. Listen, Nola, now or never here. I do think an under might not be a bad look in this one. It's up to 8.5. That game is in San Francisco. Miles Mikolas versus McGreevy. St. Louis, Washington. St. Louis actually won that game yesterday against the Nats. Something tells me we might get a few more runs, even in the frigid temps there of Washington. Both guys are gas cans. I'll take the over at 8.5. Cincinnati and Miami. Yuri Perez better at home than on the road, but the Reds just keep rolling here. Brady Singer on the mound for them. 7.5 is the number in that one. Call me crazy. I think Miami bounces back here. I think the Mets and Darrell Peterson taking on Nelson. Still think the Mets here can get one in a early afternoon clash. I'd look at the under there. Reagan's going for Kansas City over Cantillo and Cleveland. I think Baltimore does it again against the White Sox. Woo! Taking on Gore here today. I don't think Seattle gets swept here. I'm backing Brian Wu. I think the Yankees destroy Severino as they welcome him back to the Bronx. The under is starting to get steamed in that one from 8.5 to 8. Keep an eye on that. I do think that Framber Valdez in Detroit will bounce back to beat Bailey Ober and the Twins. Boston and Drohan there, Milwaukee. Frigid game, but I'm still going to go over there. I think Ohtani destroys Cease. I think Houston beats Colorado. I definitely think Atlanta bounces back and beats the Angels, and I think Tampa gets it done against the Cubs. And there you go. Plenty of day and early afternoon, late afternoon, early evening games here for you in Major League Baseball. Of all of these games here today, one I like the most, I think, is going to be the San Antonio Spurs. I'm buying low on San Antonio, and I don't get it. It's like the books are begging you to bet San Antonio, and you know what? I don't need a lot of convincing. Portland coming off of that overtime loss, a game in which they shot out of their mind from three-point range against Denver, ultimately to blow the lead in the second half and eventually lose in overtime. And I had Portland plus the 8.5 with my clients in that game, but that was gross. They are not going to duplicate that three-point shooting again here against San Antonio, even without Wemby or Stephen Castle. Harper and Fox and others more than capable, and they've shown that this year. They are more than capable of handling business against a 500 Portland team. No thanks. I will take San Antonio. Sometimes the better team is the better team. And yeah, they'll handle business at home as Portland. You're a playing team for a reason in that spot there. And also here, I mean, coming up a little bit later here with this Detmers versus Holmes game, Atlanta did bounce back, although great fight last night in that game between the teams. Make sure you check that one out if you hadn't seen it already. But I like Detmers, man. I really do. And I love the lefty matchup that he has against this Atlanta lineup. And I do think that the Angels can come back and win this game here tonight and take the series from the Atlanta Braves. Holmes on the mound, which is kind of their fourth or fifth starter, although might as well be their second starter since they can't keep anybody healthy there in Atlanta for starting pitching. But I'm willing to take a shot with Detmers here. I'll take him, and I will take the plus money with the Angels tonight as a best bet. And there you got it, guys. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button here. Become part of that WagerTalk TV family, as we'll be back tomorrow. I believe the Prez could very well be back tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see if he's made it back from his trip yet. Either way, I'll be here. Art DeCesar will be here with all the latest information and everything you need to know to make it a very profitable weekend here in the world of sports. So thanks again for the time, guys. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of one of these specials here. Buy 3, get 3. Weekend Warrior package, or just hop on board and get ready for what is going to be a hell of an NBA playoffs right now. Discounts galore. Let's cash some tickets. Come back and join us again tomorrow for another edition of the best betting show ever.